Sadie's Bed by Teddy Gautier. One spring morning, Sadie Hamster put her hands on her hips. "This house is a mess," she exclaimed. "I think I'll clean today." She put on an apron and tied a scarf around her head. Then she took out all of her blankets and rugs to air in the sun. Next, Sadie took out her tables and chairs. She'd made her furniture from toothpaste caps and toothpicks and acorns and spools. Then Sadie took out her bed. Her bed was a tiny, tiny shoe. A pink baby shoe. In fact, it was the best bed she had ever had. She loved snuggling into it every afternoon for a nap. After Sadie swept and polished her floors, she scrubbed her walls and ceiling. All done, she finally exclaimed, "I'm exhausted, but at least my house is clean. I think I'll make some tea, then move everything back in." But Sadie dropped her teacup in dismay when she stepped outside. Her pink shoe was gone, and she saw that down the road the farmer's puppy was carrying it away. "Oh no, he's stealing my bed," she cried. "The best bed I ever had." Sadie threw off her apron and took off down the road after the puppy. She followed him to a green pasture, and she burrowed into a little hole and watched him sniff in the wildflowers. When the puppy took off after a butterfly, he left the little shoe in a bed of clover. "Hooray!" Sadie shouted and charged across the grass to her bed. "Oh, I'm so happy to have you back, little bed," she cried, and to show how happy she was, she climbed into the little shoe and snuggled down into it. But just then, a big crow flew over and noticed the little pink shoe below. He didn't see Sadie, so he said, "What a neat shoe! I'd like to own that little shoe." The crow swooped down, picked up the shoe, and flew away. Sadie's heart beat wildly as she zoomed through the sky. Her little bed was now an airplane. She squished deeply into her little airplane as the crow flew over a field of yellow wheat and across the dirt road. Then he flew over a grove of tall oak trees and started over the stream. Just as the crow flew over the stream, he accidentally let go of the shoe, and it fell through the air and landed on a turtle's back. Thump! The turtle was lying on a rock in the middle of the stream, fast asleep in the sun, so the thump on his back didn't even wake him up. Sadie crept out of the little shoe and lowered herself into the stream. Then, holding on to the turtle shell with one hand, she tugged a shoelace with the other until she fell into the water. Kerplop! Sadie climbed aboard the floating shoe. "My little bed is now a boat," she exclaimed. And indeed it was. As the tiny shoe floated down the stream, Sadie cried out, "Whee! This is fun!" The current began moving faster and faster, and the shoe began rushing out of control down the stream. "Oh no! Oh dear! I can't stop!" Sadie cried. Suddenly, a great surge of water hurled the little pink shoe over a dam. Sadie snuggled deep into the shoe as it bounced through the rough water, and a big wave threw it onto a bank of the stream. When Sadie finally peeked out, she had no idea where she was. She'd never seen this part of the world before. Tall cattails and water weeds swayed above the shipwrecked shoe. How in the world would Sadie ever get back home? Just then, Sadie heard noises. Pant, pant, sniff. The weeds and the cattails shook as if a mighty creature were passing by. Sadie burrowed deeply into the pink baby shoe, just as the farmer's puppy stumbled into the weeds. "Oh, I remember this little shoe," the puppy said. "I think I'll take it back home with me." The puppy picked up the shoe and carried it through the tall grass. He carried it along the bank of the stream and across the meadow and down the dirt road, and all the time Sadie was inside her little pink bed and couldn't be seen, and she couldn't fall out. When the puppy was close to Sadie's house, he heard the farmer whistle, "Lunchtime!" Without thinking, he dropped the shoe in the grass and bounded home. Sadie peeked out. The coast was clear. She jumped out and quickly dragged her tiny bed back home. Later, when Sadie climbed into the pink shoe for her midday nap, She shook her head in amazement. Who would have thought that cleaning house could lead to such an incredible adventure? The end.